So the current CSR house that was built in 2011 was originally designed to showcase high-performance housing in the mainstream market. When we were designing CSR House, our CEO's executive assistant found in the CSR archives a yearbook from 1957 that told of the construction of a demonstration cottage by the CSR's Building Materials Division, which is effectively CSR Building Products. And this house was built in Kirrawee near Sutherland, and it was a demonstration for affordable, comfortable living for the modern family in the 1950s. It was really interesting to see the innovative product use back then, products that we look at today and think, maybe we wouldn't use some of those products now, but for the time they were very innovative products that were used, and the house was targeted at the mainstream markets. The synergies between the two projects from 1957 and 2011 were very similar, with not as much emphasis on the energy efficiency back in the 1950s, that's all. Just after we discovered the 1957 CSR house, my boss, Ray Thompson, discovered in his own family that a house had been built in 1911 for his grandparents, and one of his cousins had the plans for this house still in almost mint condition. And so we reviewed those plans, and we reviewed the construction of that house. It was a timber-clad building, a very small cottage, designed for the turn of the century living just before the First World War. It's interesting to dig back into those sorts of designs to see the similarities and the differences between the houses. When we reviewed the CSR house designs, the 1957 CSR house and the Thompson house from Concord, we really were surprised that not a lot had changed in 100 years to the basic structure of a home. We have totally different materials that go into finishing the home these days, and different levels of appointments and bling, if you will, for a house. But the basic structure, the timber frame, the noggings, the way that window frames get installed and the roof structures hadn't changed very much. The way that they were delivered to site and the way they were pre-assembled may have changed, but when you cut it back to the bare bones of the completed house, they would look very similar if you just stripped all the cladding off. With the higher levels of insulation, the better glazing, better lighting systems, more efficient heating and cooling systems, the cost to keep a home and operate a home these days for a modern home built in the 21st century is dramatically lower on a square metre basis compared to the smaller but less efficient homes built 50 years ago and 100 years ago.